Want to know what's going on around Kansas? Deb tells us coming up. Next is a fun look at the Prairie Dogs of Kansas. On the front porch, Kansas Sports Hall of Famer and K-State Women's Basketball Hall of Famer Nicole Ohlde. Ron Wilson is back with another poem, and we end with Michelle Martin as she brings in Famous Kansan Bill Kurtis to help her tell the story of author Zula Bennington Greene.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Ohlde, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Deb Goodrich. I hope you're having a great day. Here we are, September, folks. Whether we want the year to keep flying by or not, it sure seems to be, doesn't it? And I know that it's been a very unusual year, and there are lots of memes for 2020 that aren't very complimentary. One thing is for sure, it is a time we will not soon forget. This is one for the history books, isn't it? So I hope wherever you are that things are going well and looking up, and wow, are we looking forward to 2021. And of course, the 200th anniversary of the Santa Fe Trail is coming up in 2021, and with the anniversary of the Santa Fe Trail is 200 years of independence for Mexico and 200 years of statehood for Missouri. So all of those events came together to make the Santa Fe Trail. So it's going to be a big year, and I sure hope that conditions are where we can commemorate those events like they should be. Okay, so we were at a fundraiser the other night, and one of the things that we purchased, hang on, show and tell, was this cow skull. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so our friend Jack Steele did this. Jack Steele is a cowboy and a poet, and also just an incredibly artistic gentleman. And it got me thinking about the whole idea of decorating skulls, because I have another one I'm going to show you that our friend Molly Lamb did, a buffalo skull. And of course, in Western decor, those items are fairly common. And you know, whoever thought of hanging skulls on the wall or making them pretty? And now you have fake skulls, you know, ceramic skulls for the people who can't find or can't deal with the real thing. So I'm working on a segment on that. I'm going to do a wildlife segment on the whole phenomenon of taking skulls and decorating those. And well, lots of cool stuff coming up. So Labor Day is coming up, and Labor Day is a little later this year than normal. And of course the rodeo, things out at Russell Springs, Weskin Days, and far western Kansas and western Wallace County. I know there are lots of other things going on too, so please feel free to share those on our Facebook page or drop me a line and let me know what you're doing. If you'd like to advertise, you know, drop me a line and let me know about that too, because we appreciate our sponsors so very much, and we know that they get a great response from supporting Around Kansas. And you know, folks, we're all in this together. We're all in it together, and it takes all of us pulling together and supporting one another to make a go of it. And there's nothing I love more than sharing all the great things that are going on around Kansas, but I need your help to do it. So stay with us. Got another great show today, and I just can't wait to share Michelle's segment with you later on. So stick around.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to Western Kansas.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
I happen to enjoy watching prairie dogs more than perhaps any other animal, and I know I'm going to get tons of hate mail because many of my friends spend much of their time trying to get rid of prairie dogs. But they are endlessly fascinating, and nuisance that they are really interesting little creatures. So watch with me, if you will, the next segment. Black-tailed prairie dogs, named for their black-tipped tails and dog-like bark, once lived throughout the Great Plains in towns that extended for miles and contained hundreds of thousands of individuals. The rodents excavate a complex underground system of tunnels and rooms that may be as deep as 15 feet, with horizontal tunnels reaching 10 to 15 feet long. The soil is pushed to the surface to create numerous mounds. They forage throughout the day, with sentinels sitting upright, standing guard as the others feed. When a predator is sighted, the sentinel barks and the entire colony scampers to their protective burrows. Abandoned burrows provide homes for spiders, salamanders, toads, ornate box turtles, snakes, and burrowing owls. Black-tailed prairie dogs live on the high plains from northern Mexico to southern Canada. They are found in short-grass prairies and rangelands of the western half of Kansas. In the spring, females produce a single litter of 2 to 10 pups. They may live up to 8 years. Prairie dogs feed primarily on green vegetation, including grasses, seeds, stems, and the occasional insect. According to Parks and Wildlife Office in Pratt, there is no closed hunting season on prairie dogs and no license required for Kansas residents. There is also no bag limit. A license is required for non-residents. Andy Chappell, wildlife biologist at the Cimarron National Grasslands, said that plague sweeps through the prairie dog population periodically. The last one occurred a couple of years ago, said Andy, and spread like wildfire, leaving less than 2,000 acres of prairie dog towns throughout the more than 100,000 acre park. Other animals, like coyotes who feed on the animals, seem unaffected by the disease. The Cimarron National Grasslands boasts not only prairie dogs, but some stunning western views, truly one of our state's treasures. Their offices are in Elkhart in southwestern Kansas, so give them a call and plan a visit.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Ohlde, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on three main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun. Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Ohlde. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Ohlde, the gateway to Western Kansas.
This segment brought to you by Bob Schwartz Financial. Values, commitment, transparency.
Hi everyone, I'm Rocky Downing, and today on Around Kansas, we visit with Kansas Sports Hall of Famer and K-State Women's Basketball Hall of Famer, and so much more, Nicole Ohlde Johnson. She talks about the glory days of playing alongside her best friends at K-State.
When we say it was like Field of Dreams on game nights, people driving from Mound Ridge and Clay Center, eventually Marysville, it was insane the number of headlights you would see going in those different directions once games were over.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I still remember, I think everybody kind of remembers this, when there wasn't any season ticket holders really, and people would just come piling in once the doors opened, and we would be pulling up, a couple hours before the game, and there was people already outside in the parking lot. You look back now, you're a little older, you think about those moments. I mean, it's once in a lifetime moment where you get to experience something like that. And so to be able to be playing at a time like that with the people I was playing with, the communities that supported us, I mean, we were just so appreciative of everybody that was there. I mean, like I said, it was a once in a lifetime moment. Those were some of the best years I've ever had in my life, those 4 years. So, and to play in front of some of those fans and the excitement of those games, it made us do what we wanted to do. It made us go through all that hard work. Just seeing those people in the stands wanting to win for them, those were some great years for sure.
I know being a student athlete is a full-time job, and you work more overtime than a lot of full-time jobs. I get all that, and I know the hard work that you and your teammates put in to lead this to the success that you had. But at the same time, while you guys would, show the grit and determination to make things happen, it seemed like you guys truly enjoyed each other and truly were having fun fighting for these wins. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we hung out all the time together. Those girls, those teammates, they're my best friends. They're people I still talk to this day. I stayed in the dorms up until my junior year, and all of us were mostly in the dorms. We kind of took over a little wing of one of the halls, and we would leave our doors open and we'd out across the hallway, play some music, and be running up and down the hallway. But yeah, we loved each other. We cared for each other. We wanted to run through a wall for each other. And so if somebody was down or having a bad game, another person was there to pick them up. And so I think that's what makes a team really good. I mean, if you're going to care for one another and you're going to want to work incredibly hard in the preseason, so when the actual season comes, you're ready to fight through anything, any adversity to win for your teammate. I think that's what makes teams successful. So you're spot on. I mean, we were best friends, and like I said, to this day, we still communicate with each other. And obviously don't see each other enough, but when we do, it's a fun reunion.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
One of my favorite themes is cowboys and technology, probably because I'm technologically challenged. Even the simple cell phone can sometimes befuddle me, and it inspired me to write the following poem. It's called The Smartphone, Dumb and Dumber. They showed me a new smartphone down at the cell phone store. They said it could check email and take pictures and do more. It had so many features that I almost forget. You could get a bunch of apps and surf the internet. So I bought that brand new cell phone, even though it made me nervous. The next Sunday, I was sitting in our Sunday church service. The preacher was a-going on his Sunday sermon thing when that cell phone chose that very time in which to ring. Well, my face got all red, and I fumbled for my phone and turned the darn thing off to stop the noxious tone. After the service, I said that I was sorry to the preacher, but he was very gracious about my interrupting feature. It was the next morning I rode out to check the cattle, to look for newborn calves and to fight the coyote battle. The herd was fine. But when I got my horse back to the stalls, I checked the time on my phone and found I'd missed 3 calls. My wife had called from town about a part that we were needing, plus the order buyer called and a man about cattle feeding. I was so disgusted to have missed those calls for sure, but the phone was all turned off from what I'd done the day before. And that is how it's gone with this cell phone ever since. It's always the wrong way, which always makes me wince. How can it be that this is how it's always gone? When I want it on, it's off, and when I want it off, it's on. There must be something wrong with this phone, at least in part. I thought the dadgum salesman said this stupid phone was smart. I was cussing out this cell phone. I was really on a tear. Then my wife made some comment about operator error. So I think the time has come, even though it is a slam, to admit this dadgum smartphone is smarter than I am. Happy trails.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Does Michelle have a treat for us today? Not only does she feature the Kansas author Zula Bennington Greene, but she got our great friend and Kansan Bill Kurtis to join her in paying tribute to this lovely lady. Good morning, Michelle, and please send Bill our thanks for participating and contributing to Around Kansas this morning.
Good morning, Deb, and good morning to all our viewers. When I first moved to Kansas, I began to read about my new state. One of the first authors I was introduced to was Zula Bennington Greene, known to many as Peggy of the Flint Hills. Born in Missouri in 1895, Zula Bennington was, like many, a transplant to Kansas. After moving with her family to Colorado, Zula eventually met and married Willard Greene, one of her high school teachers. In 1918, the couple moved to Chase County, the heart of the Flint Hills. Zula adjusted to life in the Flint Hills and was active in social and charitable organizations in Bazaar, Cottonwood Falls, and Strong City. In 1929, Zula began writing for the Chase County Leader and adopted the pen name Peggy of the Flint Hills. Her columns reflected on life in Kansas, the Flint Hills, and news of the day. The Kansas landscape was a frequent protagonist in her columns. Like many new arrivals to Kansas, Zula fell in love with the rolling green hills, skyscapes, and sunsets of the Flint Hills. She wrote of Kansas,
"The Kansas prairie is not the gorgeous woman you dreamed should someday be yours, but she is mystery and tenderness and strength and rapture. And suddenly you know that this is what you wanted all your life."
Her love for Kansas grew with time, and Zula's columns and poems reflected her admiration for her adopted state. She wrote, "Kansas, you take away the hurt my first love left. Your gently sloping hills blot out the pain. Kansas, I yield to your gentle wooing, yield to your rest. I give you my second love, my strong love, my best." Zula's humor was palpable on the page. Of women in rural Kansas, she wrote, "Women spend 66 2/3% of their time looking out for their clothes. They must be careful not to walk in weeds or tall grass. They'd snag their stockings. If all a woman's energy is ever released for positive doing, she will rule the world." In 1933, Zula and her family packed their belongings and headed for Topeka. Like she had before, Zula adapted to change. While in Topeka, she continued her writing career for the Topeka Daily Capital. She branched out and wrote a weekly radio show for WIBW and enjoyed acting in local theater. But words were always Zula's best friends. Whether commenting on the passage of time, political affairs of the day, local news, or the change of the seasons, Zula's columns struck a chord with readers. But Kansas, her adopted home, was one of her greatest muses. In 1969, she wrote a poem simply called Kansas. "Rich with the mold of a million years, rich with courage and faith and tears, drama of earth and time and man, of stories told and sung, of battles fought and victories won. Never will be such a state again. Zula died in Topeka on June 13, 1988. She rests in the Kansas soil she championed and loved. I hope you enjoyed today's look at Zula Bennington Greene, a Kansas original. I hope you'll join me next time for another historical adventure somewhere around Kansas.
Thanks for watching, folks. It's great to share the Wednesday morning with you, or whatever day of the week that you happen to be watching. And please let your friends and neighbors know that they could be watching too. Let me hear from you, and I'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Ohlde, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
When your college career begins, you'll have the opportunity to build upon your skills. One of those opportunities could be joining a Collegiate Farm Bureau chapter. With programs at 19, 2, and 4-year schools around the state, you can't go far without the possibility of joining a chapter. Collegiate Farm Bureau provides opportunities to build your network with other students, connect to leaders and mentors, develop a greater understanding of ag in Kansas and around the United States, share your knowledge with kids, consumers, and elected officials, experience statewide events and conferences, compete in contests to build essential skills and win great prizes, and gain eligibility for scholarships.
It helps you understand Farm Bureau a little bit more.
I got to be involved on the county, collegiate, district, and state levels.
And my favorite part from the program is being involved in the leadership aspect of it and just gaining skills that I wouldn't have otherwise.
Want to learn more? Visit www.kfb.org/collegiate.